What's up, y'all? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm happy to have you here. Quick little message for today. God can handle your frustrations. So basically what had happened was this was an emotional hot mess express of a week, and I was just pouring out my frustrations to God the other day, and it hit me that oftentimes I don't do that. I don't like to bring my frustrations and my irritations to God because I have this fear that he can't handle it, or that God is going to be petty and that he's going to take away the very thing that I'm complaining about or venting about to God. So usually I just kind of try to either keep it to myself or I pour it out to somebody else. But one of the takeaways that I had for this week is that God can handle anything I throw his way. God can handle my frustration. God can handle my emotions. God can handle my feelings. And I don't have to sugarcoat how I'm feeling. I don't have to diminish what it is that I'm feeling. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to put on a mask before I go to God. I can literally take all of that frustration, irritation, confusion, overwhelm, burnout, all of that. I can take that to him and trust that he's not going to be petty. He's not going to shame me for it. He's not going to condemn me for it. And that was the big lesson that I had to learn this week. So I'm just here to pass along the message in case somebody else needs to know. You can take your frustrations to God. And at one point during this week, I was just like, Lord, I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to pray to you. I don't know what to say right now. But if I was really honest with myself, I knew what to say. I had plenty to say, but what I really felt like I wanted to say, I thought it was going to come across as though I'm complaining or I'm not being grateful, or, you know, all of those things when you start getting in your head about what you can tell God. But honestly, I had plenty to say. I knew what emotions I had. I knew how to articulate that. I just didn't want to bring that forward to God, because in my mind, if I bring something to God that's irritating me and I'm complaining about it to him, then he's just going to take it away. He's going to be like, all right, you know what? You complaining about it. I'm just going to take it. And that's not what I was going for. But that's going with the implication that God is petty, that God is just waiting for me to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, and that he can just take everything away. Basically thinking that I can't tell you how I really feel about this particular thing in my life, because then you might just take it away from me. You might just be sitting there waiting for me to say the wrong thing. And that is not how God works. He's not just sitting there waiting for us to mess up so that he can go ahead and condemn us and take away things that we have. So that was a big lesson that I had to learn. I was doubting that God would be able to handle what it is that I truly had to say. If I was truly being honest about what I felt in that moment, the truth wasn't pretty, and I didn't feel like God was going to be able to handle that. And it's not even that he can't handle it, but more so he's going to be petty as a result of what I have to say. And I have to get out of this mindset that God is petty and that God is just waiting for me to say the wrong thing, and that if and when I slip up and mess up, God is going to be ready to just condemn me and shame me and put me down. Where does that thinking come from? Because that is not the case. That's not how it works. I had to learn that I can truly be honest with God about what I'm feeling. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. And so maybe somebody else needs to know that too. Maybe you're thinking that God can only handle the good stuff, the pretty stuff, the cute stuff. But no, God can handle all of it. And oftentimes I think sometimes I'm standing in the way of my own blessing and my own breakthrough because of that fear. Because what if by me going to God and saying, look, I am grateful for what it is that you have blessed me with, but at the same time, because two things can be true, I can be grateful and frustrated at the same time. If I tell God, okay, listen, I am frustrated about this very thing, so Lord, I need you to help me with this. Or if I'm praying for something better or different and change, then I can still bring that to God. Because what if that prayer and that honesty going to God about what I'm truly feeling, what if that's the very thing that's going to unlock the solution that God already has for me? What if by me saying, Lord, this is how I'm truly feeling, what if that's the thing that God is waiting on from me so that he can unleash the very thing that he has to solve the problem that I'm upset about? Hopefully this is making sense. It's making sense in my head. I don't know. I don't have to pretend that I'm not feeling the way that I'm feeling to God, because he knows everything. He knows exactly what I'm feeling before I even feel it. He knows why I'm going to feel the way that I feel, even when I don't know why I'm going to feel the way that I feel. So as long as I go to God and say, listen, I don't know what this is, but this is what I'm feeling, and Lord, I need you to help me with this, that's when God can go ahead and move on my behalf. That's when he can pour out blessings. That's when he can pour out answers and solutions. The things that he already has stored up Oftentimes it's the key. Your honesty and your vulnerability to God is going to be the key to unlock the thing you need. You know, even with this channel, I haven't really known like what it is that I'm going to talk about. And I don't want to just get on this channel and talk about anything, but even just being honest about my frustrations with this, God gave me this video. He gave me this message to be able to share. So you just never know what your honesty to God can unlock for you. And it's not to say just go vent and complain all of the time. No, you can have a balance. You can find the balance of being grateful and saying, Lord, I am grateful for the very things that you have given me. There are things that I'm walking in now that I could have only dreamed of back in the day. So I'm walking in answered prayers and I can be grateful for that. But at the same time, there are things that frustrate me and I get overwhelmed and I get burned out. And I can take all of those feelings, all of those frustrations, I can take that to God. And he's not going to look down on me and say, oh, here she go again, being ungrateful. No, God knows that we are human. He knows that we are going to feel what we feel. But when you find that balance, I think, when you find a balance of being grateful for what God gives you, but also still being able to be honest about, Lord, I don't know what this is and I'm getting frustrated and I need your help because I want all that this life has to offer me. Everything that you have with my name on it, I want it. So if things frustrate me, there might be a reason for that. Like you just never know what God is trying to do. So sometimes the irritation and the agitation is something that he's ordained. It's something that he is allowing to happen so that it gets you moving. It gets you uncomfortable so that you stop being stagnant where you are and instead you choose to now go to God and say, all right, Lord, I'm ready for the next thing. Make me into the person who's going to be ready for the next thing that you have in store for me. And I think it's important to share your emotions with God as well, because not only is he a great listener, but he is also a fantastic problem solver. Every problem that you have, God has a solution for it. He already knows what the solution is before you even encountered the problem. So oftentimes when I don't go to God with my issues because I feel like he's going to be petty, I'm really just prolonging getting the solution, getting the thing that he already has ready for me. You have not because you ask not. So oftentimes I can just go to God and say, Lord, I'm frustrated. I need your help. What do I need to do? Who do I need to become? What do I do in this moment? And then wait for God to respond. Sometimes all it takes is you speaking up and speaking to God about your situation for him to actually move on it. It makes me think about people in the Bible. God didn't just turn his back on people because they voiced their frustrations, because they spoke up about what they were really feeling. No, like God is not going to do that. I have to get out of the thought that God is petty. And like, it's not to say just completely be ungrateful for everything that you have, because that's a whole different thing. But just because things upset me or frustrate me or I get, flustered about stuff does not mean that God is going to be displeased with me. So stop pretending that everything is fine. Sometimes everything is not fine. Sometimes you are irritated, and that is okay. It is it's an emotion. It's natural. It's something that all of us experience. So it's okay to feel that way. Just don't stay there. And I think staying there is just trying to deal with it by myself. If I try to deal with my frustrations by myself, I probably will stay frustrated. I probably will never get out of it. So if I go to the one who I know can change me and change my situation, then I don't have to stay in that. So yes, I can acknowledge that, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. This is the frustration. I can place that in God's hands and see what he does as a result of it. See who he makes me into, who's able now to deal with that frustration. God can change the way that you are. He can change your situation. He can change you from the inside out, to where the very thing that irritated me might not even irritate me anymore because of the change that has happened within me. And sometimes, we're talking about when we're waiting on God, but often God is waiting on us. So I think in those moments where you're just going through it and you're frustrated about whatever it might be, sometimes God might just be waiting for you to bring it to him. And if you're like me and you feel like God is waiting for you to mess up and waiting for you to say the wrong thing, then let this be your reminder that that is not the case. God is not sitting there waiting for us to fail. God wants to help us. God cares for us. He loves us. And if we truly believe that, then we should know that we can bring our irritations to him and not be judged for it and not be condemned for it, but be comforted through it. And God is going to have compassion on us. And that's what I have to continuously tell myself. So yes, there's going to be times where I'm just like, Lord, what is going on? Like, I can't do this. I'm over it. I'm done. And in those moments, I can trust that God is just going to comfort me and give me the next step, give me solutions, help me in those moments. So yeah, I mean, that's really it. That's all I had to say. Maybe somebody needs to hear that. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but I have to get out of this fear that God is just waiting on me to say the wrong thing. So maybe that's the ultimate takeaway. God is not waiting for me to say the wrong thing. I mean, I hope this was helpful. It was definitely a message that I needed to hear. And oftentimes when I get those, I just want to share them with you all as well. So if somebody else needed it, I hope it blesses you. Alrighty, y'all. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.